All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. I know this is 1 hour after lunch, just when the food starts kicking in, food coma starts kicking in, so we'll do our best not to keep you awake. So the topic for today is Eli Lilly's data-driven journey with Databricks. My name is Wilfred Mascarenas. I'm a technology leader and the chief architect in manufacturing and quality. Primarily responsible for innovation and strategy. And then we'll have Shaunak and Abhijay, who are co-presenters, introduce themselves when their portion comes up. So for the agenda, we'll start with a little bit about background on our data journey, so I'll do that. Following that, Shaunak will present on our architecture. We'll try to get a little bit deep into the architecture, that way you guys can take back something from our architecture or from our implementation. And then Abhijay will share key learnings they were our partners from Tredence. They'll share some key learnings, bringing outside-in perspective and helping us in our journey to implement Databricks at Lilly. And then we'll have a few use case highlights and a demo, and then I'll also talk a little bit about what's next. Okay? So a little bit about Lilly. We unite caring and with discovery to bring life-changing medicines to patients around the world. And everything we do is based on our core values of integrity, excellence, and respect for people. We are based in Indianapolis, Indiana, headquartered there, but we do have sites, both sales and marketing offices, as well as manufacturing sites across 9 countries. So for this presentation, what is more important is relevant is more of the manufacturing sites we have across 9 countries. We are today around 16 manufacturing sites and building another 10 in the next, that should come online in the next 2 to 5 years. So it's a tremendous growth and anticipated growth, and the kind of what we are going to share today, lends itself in terms of being ready for the anticipated growth in manufacturing. So like I said, Lilly is going through an amazing period of growth. I think this has been, I think, an unprecedented growth, not only in our industry and our history, but I would say also amongst all of our pharma peers. We've got 3 molecules right now that are in regulatory review. We have 22 in phase 3, 24 in phase 2, and 26 in phase 1. So, and we are hiring very aggressively. So I think just in IT, I would say in the last 3 years, we've doubled our resource or headcount. So if you guys know of anyone who's looking for a job, do encourage them. We need the best talent we can to bring, again, life-changing medicines to patients across the globe. Lilly.com/careers, in case you guys over. So in terms of our data journey, this really started with our leaders being very intentional in terms of our IT stack. We've done a great job of ensuring all of our manufacturing sites have the exact same IT stack across the globe. So our ERP systems, our quality management system, document management system, manufacturing execution system are pretty much the same across all of our manufacturing sites. Even if we have acquired those sites, we've been very disciplined in terms of making sure that they have the common IT stack. And that really has given us a huge advantage in terms of harmonizing data and bringing all that data into a single data store, which we, again, have qualified at the GMP level. For those in pharma, GMP stands for good manufacturing practice, which is a requirement for us in terms of using data for regulatory purposes. So really, our journey started with harmonizing the application stack, which again helps us harmonize on the data, create a centralized data store, and then bring that data to drive value to our business. So again, the journey started in 20 years ago. as we started harmonizing on the application stack and started implementing the application stack, we were also very disciplined in terms of building the global data warehouse. So we started with the data warehouse using the traditional means of the structured data and the data warehouse concepts. Following that, there was, again, a big increase in the use of data, building dashboards, and our business users wanting to do more and more self-service BI. So we essentially improved that architecture, created a high-performance, built it on a high-performance appliance. Following that, there was a big push for unstructured data, looking to analyze unstructured data, whether that's videos, audio, or more importantly, unstructured text, right? And then we had the whole phase of adoption of Hadoop, adding to our data strategy. And then 2 years ago, we essentially went to the next improvement in our data architecture and modernizing our data architecture, which is leveraging the lakehouse concept and leveraging, again, Databricks as our implementation platform for the lakehouse. And again, in addition to the technology work we are doing in terms of building the lakehouse, we're also being very intentional now in terms of building the data products. Data products along with data governance, ensuring those data products are appropriately stewarded by our business, so on and so forth. And then that has, again, helped us add new concepts like AI and then chat BI on our data products. So next, all right, so in addition to the technology, so we'll talk a lot about technology in this presentation, but I also wanted to point out that there are many other key ingredients towards our success in our data journey. So in addition to the innovation strategy work that my team does, we also have a team that does data governance. And that's led by Deidre Carey, focusing on mastering data, metadata, harmonizing data, data catalog, data, the whole aspects of data governance. And then we also have Jasmeet Singh, who leads our scale-up and value delivery team, ensuring what we do in innovation can be scaled up and performs to deliver, again, value to our end users. And then the other thing we focused a lot on, again, thanks to Databricks and then partnership with Tredence, is ensuring that we can bring our business as well as IT folks up to speed in terms of upskilling. So one of the strategies we use for this is doing hackathons. We did one a couple of months ago, and we are getting ready to do another one in July. And what we do there is encourage the business and IT folks to bring in new use cases. And then we've done one just using Genie, saying, okay, this is your use case. We have a Genie room where we enable the data products that they need to use, and then we ask them to solve the problem just using Genie. So this has been an amazing success, the last one we did, and we're looking forward to, again, upskilling even more people in the coming months. So with that, I'll hand it over to Shaunak, who's going to talk a little bit about the architecture, and following that, Tredence will talk about the journey.
Thanks, Wilfred. Myself, Shaunak Debra, I'm part of the innovation team in Lilly, primarily responsible for delivering data, AI, and digital tech solutions at Lilly. In this slide, I'm going to cover more of our high-level design flow, what we have built, and then in the next slide, I'm going to touch base a bit in depth in architecture, covering about our core architecture components and the services that we have used. So on the left-hand side, the marker is not, but pretty much on the left-hand side, we have these various source systems. The lower two blocks are primarily our IT systems, which are mostly our enterprise IT and our manufacturing IT. And then we have the top two blocks on our OT systems. Moving on to the right-hand side, we have the various ingestion frameworks we have built, and I'm going to touch base upon that in my next slide on the detailed architecture. But primarily, the idea here is to get the data into our Lakehouse platform, in the integration of our IT and OT data into the data platform. So here on the middle layer is our Lakehouse or the data platform, where we have pretty much built our medallion architecture, where we have the raw, refine, and the confirm layer, pretty much staying true to our bronze, silver, and gold layer. So confirm layer is the final layer where we build all our data products. And then we have Unity Catalog doing all the data governance and the data lineage and the unified data. So that's pretty much our data platform. And then we have consumption. We do traditional reporting analytics. And then we have AI and ML use cases, which is being served through this data platform. And we do expose this data products to the marketplace. So we have like a well-defined access strategy. And then we have data product owners who then have who own the end-to-end ownership of the delivery of the data products and the lifecycle management of the data products. So in summary, what I would like to say here is like what we heard today in the keynote, we have tried to stay true to that architecture. So we have the Lakehouse platform in middle, and then we have Unity Catalog on top of it doing more of the unified governance, and then we have AI, ML, and the reporting in terms of doing the consumption and making the platform ready for AI. With this, I will go into the detailed architecture. I know this slide is a bit busy. I will try my best to keep it simple, but yeah. So on the very left-hand side, we have the IT data sources, which says AWS EDB. It's primarily our IT data sources, and as part of our enterprise strategy, we store the data in AWS. We do have built like a custom ingestion component to get the data into Databricks. We are working very closely with Databricks, leveraging Lakehouse Federation to kind of do that external movement into the data, or external cataloging into the data, and so that we use some of out of the box component to get the data into cloud. On top, we have our manufacturing IT data, and it's pretty much the traditional change data capture ingestion, which we do through Azure Data Factory. On top, we have our OT data, which is the PyHistorian. We have all our instruments and equipments data, and this is one place where we invested a lot of time to build kind of a custom ingestion component to get the data from our legacy PyHistorian into cloud. But having said that, we are again also working very close with our vendor partners like Aviva Pi and Databricks to ensure that we get some out-of-the-box integration components, so that we again stay true to getting the out-of-the-box integration components. Then on the top, we have more of our standalone. We have few standalone instruments, which are like pH meters, weighing balances, and we use our IoT and MQTT infrastructure to get the data into cloud. So in summary, we have two principles which stands out here. We have our IT data, which is like the batch ingestion which we do, and then we have our OT data, which we do in near real-time streaming into the Databricks cloud environment. And the second principle which we have tried to stay true is we work as much as possible with Databricks and our vendor partners to do out-of-the-box integration, so we don't do custom. We are still doing some of those, but we still work very closely with them to ensure that we do out-of-the-box integrations. As we go on the right, we do have like the raw layer, refine layer, and the confirm layer, which I spoke in my earlier slide. So you have the data moves from raw to refine, where you do the traditional change data capture merge, and then the data moves into confirm layer, where we build our final data products for our consumption. On the top is the Databricks Unity Catalog, which pretty much does all the access governance, all the security control, the lineage, and all of that. So as we move the data from raw to refine to confirm, we have Unity Catalog doing all of this unified governance. Once the data products are built, we have our consumption patterns on the rightmost, and then we have Power BI, which is traditionally used for all our traditional reporting and analytics. We have OneLake, which we are leveraging again. We have done successful integrations with Microsoft Fabric, and as Fabric is built on the same Lakehouse concept, we are very easily able to integrate that into OneLake, and that has been a game changer for us, where now our site engineers can have their Fabric workspaces and do many of their self-service analytics. We have Genie on the top, and I'm going to do a demo at the end where we are going to see some of the self-service analytics like NLQ on top of your data products. And as we do this, we do have we are also positioning this platform to make this AI ready. So I think Wilfred is going to touch base upon that at the end and summarize on that. So yeah, with that, I would hand it over to Abhijay, who is going to talk about our partnership in building this entire ecosystem.
Thanks, Sean. This is working? Thanks, Shaunak. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just a little bit about my introduction. So I head the solutions delivery for our healthcare business in Tredence. Before we get into the journey, a little bit about Tredence. So this is a company which is focused on data and AI solutions development, headquartered in San Jose. We work for several industries, so we are deeply also invested in healthcare and life sciences, as well as manufacturing and supply chain domains. So we are fortunate enough to be involved in transformation journeys for several companies, but the one thing, and I'll, of course, as I kind of talk about the transformation journey, the one thing that I would say is the biggest learning for all these transformations, and especially the ones that have been happening on the data space, is while there is technical complexities that you have to overcome, but there is, that's only one side of the coin, right? So you have to have a mindset of driving business outcomes, and you cannot leave it too late. You cannot have all the nuts and bolts all built out and then start driving business outcomes, because they get pretty impatient. And that's the journey, I think. When we started working with Lilly, that was in the DNA of the transformation from day one. And that's the learning that I wanted to share with this team, that how do you kind of chart this journey, how Lilly did it. And from day one, right, this whole journey started 18 months back, or maybe a little bit more than that. Right, and from day one, it was never a vendor-client relationship, right? So Lilly has been very accommodating. They wanted to also listen to ideas outside in. They wanted to also see how we have done these similar transformations elsewhere, what kind of learnings we can bring in. So if you look at the journey, right? So it started all with the vision setting with business, as Wilfred was saying. There are a lot of site users, even though the tech stacks and the application stacks were common. But it was still disparate, right? The sites were using different solutions in the sense like they were using it differently. They had different needs. The businesses are very different. And as Lilly's business was scaling, they went about and started of course, the need for modernization was there, but they also collected the business requirements. They understood the high-level pain points. And the roadmap that they put together was a data product-driven roadmap, which again, is pretty much a game-changing aspect that they brought in. The reason I say that is because if you look at how the solution evolved, the data products is a concept where you bring in very highly curated data products on specific aspects of the domain. They are owned by data product owners. The attributes which are there in the data product, they lend themselves to a multitude of use cases, right? It's very tightly governed. I think Wilfred, when he was speaking, he also mentioned about his counterparts in the governance team, Deirdre, who also manages the overall governance of this data product, what comes in, how do you manage the quality, who uses it, the permissions, and so on and so forth. So the first few months of our journey went in identifying and prioritizing the right data products. So we went and developed the data products. We built as much as possible in the first few months, but as I said, right, I mean, you have to have an eye for business outcomes, and you cannot just keep building on a data product journey forever, right? So we created 2 more work streams on top of the data product work stream. And one, what Shaunak was covering, was the overall platform hardening, right, which you see, and I don't know whether it's in the middle in the bottom. So the whole data platform as we were building, right, while we wanted speed, but we also didn't want to lose sight that the platform has to be built in the right way. We have to build the right CI/CD. We have to, as Shaunak was also showing, governed by Unity Catalog. All the pipelines that we were building, it was bimodal. So there were pipelines coming through real time. There were pipelines coming through batch. How do you harmonize them? as much as possible, make it flexible, configurable, so that you externalize a lot of the logic outside, and you do not have to keep coding, so that you do not get into a lot of technical debt in this new platform from day one. So that was the first work stream. You do data platform hardening, and then the second work stream was how do you build solutions for end users? Because the data products were coming up, right? Though it was not fully built out, all data products were not built out. So there were a couple of data products that we started with, and with those two data products, very high quality data products, we started thinking what solutions we can bring to the end users. Again, Lilly, when we started this journey, we embedded ourselves in the manufacturing, the DIA teams of Lilly, and we got a lot of help to get connected with the business users, understand what they're looking for. And the mindset was about agile experimentation and building new solutions, right? So it's not about spending months in understanding what the requirements are. It's about building something quick, get in front of the users, show them, get them excited. Some solutions may work, some may not, right? So the solutions which work, you go for scaling, which is the last thing that you see, which is where when Wilfred was showing the org chart, Just Meet's team came in, solutions which passed through the filters, we went for a full-fledged scaling with the sites. And when I there are very specific aspects of this transformation that I wanted to share, and this is something that it's almost like a playbook, and I don't know whether it's readable from, but I'll anyway talk about it. So there are very few things which are very critical to the transformation to ensure that this does not become a technical rat hole where everybody just focuses on technology, how to bring in data, and you continue to ingest data in this big platform, and there is very little sight of the end users, right? So when we started working with Lilly, it was very clear to us that we have to start thinking about business outcome, right? And so alignment with the business goals from day one was the mantra that Lilly brought in, and we also when we shared some of the learnings with them, so because we also were embedded with them, we had some domain aspects that we brought in, so we started working with the end users, and we got the requirements very, very clearly laid out so that we knew what data products to be built and what solutions to be built. The data quality and lineage, this is a very critical thing, right? So a lot of data in the source systems, they're not in good shape, right? And we know that, right? The source systems, they are weighed down by decades of legacy. Processes may have moved out of source systems. So how do you bring the data in? How do you curate the data? How do you do the right kind of data quality treatment on that data? Again, this is something where domain, technology, all get mixed together. You use AI in parts of the data quality treatment. The big thing that I would like to talk about in the data quality when it comes to the platform, for those of us who are in this journey, right, is a large part of the data quality has to be configurable, has to be externalized, so that you are not constantly developing new quality rules. You have to understand the framework. You have to build that framework so that as more and more data products get built, more and more data sources get ingested, it doesn't take too long to build out the quality rules and the transformation rules. The third thing, again, this is a big reiteration of the Lilly's mindset of, and we are part of many transformations, but this is very unique to Lilly, is how do you have this fail fast approach? Of course, the FANG companies and many others, they revel in this, right? They bring products in the market, it doesn't work, they move on. But it's very hard for an enterprise like Lilly to actually imbibe this mindset, right? And we have seen this firsthand. As the data products started getting built, we actually collaborated with the business, and we often would not know what we are building is probably the right solution or not. So we went ahead and built some of these. Some actually went for scaling. Some we actually paused right when we saw that it probably is not meeting the business needs. Data product thinking, I've already talked about it. I think for Lilly, this has been the biggest benefit, because the way the data products are developed and existing data products, it keeps getting enhanced. Then there are new data products in the pipeline. They're clear owners of these data products. These are very, very high quality data getting sourced. I mean, data is sourced from source system, but the treatment of that data and putting it into data product with clear owners, who are directly connected with the end users to bring in the right attributes, bring in the right modeling, so that all kinds of solutions, data science, AI use cases can be built on top of it. And the last one is very important, is the change management and user adoption. Never easy when you're operating at the scale of Lilly, right? So you can do all the pilots with one site, with a small set of users, but once you start scaling, once you start taking it to other sites, it does get difficult, right? So how do you find the right kind of business champions who take the solution, who own it, who kind of take responsibility to bring it into their sites, into their sphere of influence, and ensure that the solution gets adopted, the business outcomes get driven, is again something that we have found extremely well done within Lilly. And a lot of these things have been a very shared partnership, right? So we have been, as I said, embedded teams that we formed throughout this transformation were integrated teams. So Lilly's team, our team, we all got embedded within a development team or business requirements gathering team, and we collectively work towards the outcome. So we were also as much vested in it to ensure that the outcomes are there, and business is really adopting these solutions. Again, I can go on for long enough. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a lot of the learnings, but these are some of the very key things that I wanted to highlight as part of the transformation journey. So I want to hand back to Wilfred to show you some solutions which we brought to life with this.
Okay. So I'm going to cover here like a Genie space and use case demo which we build. So as we all know, Genie is like more of your natural language query on top of your data products or your data sets. Like so, yeah. So in this demo, we are just going to showcase here like it's our Databricks workspace. We have like created this Genie space, and essentially just once you bring all your data, so we have our asset data product, and we got all the desired data sets on the Genie space, and then you start asking questions on top of it. So here we are asking like, show me all the work orders for a given asset, and you can pause it if you want. Yeah. So as you can see here, we are showing like give me all the work orders, work order number, description, status for the asset number. We have masked some of those for security reasons, but yeah, that's how it looks like. And then when we give the asset number, and it just does give me the information in the tabular format, right? It pretty much again gives me the SQL code, the code that got generated. So today what we were seeing in the keynote, it pretty much does it very nicely. So, and it's all built on top of your Unity catalog. So one great takeaway from this is like, as you build your Unity catalog and how you define your metadata and how you define your data set is primarily responsible for how Genie performs on top of your data sets and gives back the query. We have been testing this, and we have now made this prime ready for production. So we have this workspace and the Genie workspace on top of our data products, which are essentially then released to our users who are then just asking questions on top of it. So here are some other examples which again features around asset data product, but essentially this is just to showcase like it just does not stop at one. You can keep on asking questions, and it does give on the iterative loop. So it does give you like a conversational chat. So you just give you the next questions that you should be asking. So yeah, here we are asking about what is the average duration of work orders by work type, and then it just gives you the data, and then it also spills out some beautiful visualizations there, so you can download this and take it away. So that's the self-service analytics vision which we had, right? So you essentially create your data products or data sets in the Unity catalog, and then just expose that to a Genie space, and you have your end users then asking questions who are the real end users who know the value of the data, who can then use the data, and you don't have to have like a SQL background or any code background, and behind the scenes it does it very, I would say very seamlessly here. So yeah. And as you can see here, this was a pretty complex code. And here is the Genie room, which here you can get all the data sets. It shows you all the past chats. So all the chats that have been happening, people have been asking questions, so it does give you a good information. It does give you the history of about how the users are asking. So if you have asked questions in like past 10 days back, you want to go and visit that, you can go into the history, you can check that. It also gives you a rating, so you can like do like a positive and negative, and that feedback in the loop does works. So with that, I would give it to Wilfred to showcase more of our vision in terms of how do we now position this platform as part of our AI ready.
Okay. Thank you, Sonak. So we intentionally selected the Genie demo because, again, the future is, in my opinion, at least more chat-based querying, and then also more, I believe the dashboards of tomorrow will be more chat-based rather than building pre-made dashboards and then giving those to the business. So we will continue to do that. We're still doing that, but again, this is something new that we've been partnering very closely with Databricks to bring to the end user. So in my opinion, finally we may have actual self-service BI be realized across across the enterprise. So to summarize, again, we talked about building very good data products. That's kind of the foundation of everything we are doing. On top of that, we're ensuring we have the right governance, making sure that the master data is common across the data products, the reference data is there, the data lineage, appropriate stewardship of the business, so on and so forth. And really that is what is going to empower us in terms of bringing AI, and not really, perhaps in the future, not even creating data products, but where the data products are created on the fly. And that, I think, in my opinion, will probably be because of the discipline in mastering data, in having the right reference data, in creating the right ontologies and knowledge graphs and so on and so forth, where the data products of tomorrow would be built by AI versus having to build these data products targeted to each and every business problem. So that's kind of what we are looking at today. How do we make our data products AI ready? And there's a lot of attention to this space in industry. We saw that this morning in the keynote. And the specific things we have started working on right now is creating these ontologies and knowledge graphs, right? How does data connect with each other so that, again, as you're writing these queries using Genie or other things, the integration of data, how data relates to each other, is kind of pre-built through these ontologies and knowledge graphs. So then, there's little variation or little possibilities of hallucinations or getting wrong results, et cetera, or having the need for a human in the loop. So we're spending a lot of time right now. We've started this journey of building the knowledge graphs and ontologies. The other thing we're also looking at is creating agents on top of these data products. So creating targeted agents for each of those data products. And we heard this morning, Databricks doing the agent bricks. So we're really excited to see, how we could potentially leverage the concept of agent bricks and bring that on top of our data products. The other thing is also, vector DBs, the ability to query your data, especially unstructured data. We have a lot of this interest in this space, and we now have a lot of people, building their own vector DBs. So we're also trying to harmonize on that, creating a centralized vector database so that, again, it has the proper chunking strategies, embeddings, et cetera, so that, again, each business user doesn't have to do that for themselves. And then additionally, we're also looking at some synthetic data. We're investing in some tools in adding synthetic data to our data products. Again, as you need more data for AI, we want to kind of harmonize that along with the data products so that, again, you don't need to create that synthetic data for each and every project. And there are lots of other concepts we're looking at, data labeling, so on and so forth, so that, again, these are new aspects to consider as you build the data products of tomorrow, the AI-ready data products of tomorrow. So that's really all we had. Hopefully that gives you some glimpse into the work we are doing and some best practices we are following, and then what's coming up next. We have 5 minutes for Q&A. So happy to take some Q&A questions.